Listen, that song where it says, leaves the 99, go after the one, is talking about Jesus being our shepherd. And that's what John chapter 10 talks about, the fact that we are his sheep. We are his sheep, and he is our shepherd. And what it's saying is, look, I don't care if I got 100 sheep, and one of them goes off, and I still got 99 sheep here. That's a lot of sheep. I'm going to go after the one.
Amen. This
week, he's gone after you. He's pursued you. He's lit up every shadow in your life. We've seen 6 people give their lives to Jesus in baptism. We've got like 40 tonight. I don't know. It's the half of the baptized. That we're done. Not really that many, but it's a lot. Yeah. And so you need to remember that. I'm going to speak a little bit about John chapter 9 before we started, because you need to know the backstory, why he told the story he told. And so it was a Saturday, which for those of you who don't know was called Sabbath. Okay? God rested on the 7th day, and he said to his people, you need to rest on the 7th day and do nothing. Well, Jesus came across this blind man, right? And he said, boom, you're healed. And he could see. And the people in charge were not real happy about that. They didn't really like Jesus to begin with, and they said, this is our chance to trap him, right? In John chapter 9 it says, they brought to the Pharisees the man who had been blind. Now the day on which Jesus had made the mud and opened the man's eyes, because he like spit in some dirt and like made mud and rubbed it on his eyes. He didn't have to do that. It was just cool. It was just cool. He could have said, be healed, and it was, but he said, but it says, therefore the Pharisees also asked him how he received his sight. He put mud on my eyes. The man replied, and I washed it, and now I can see. Some of the Pharisees said, this man is not from God, for he does not keep the Sabbath. But others asked, how can a sinner do such miraculous signs? So they were kind of divided. Finally they turned again to the blind man. What do you have to say about him? It was your eyes he opened. The man replied, he is a prophet. They still didn't believe him, so they brought his parents in. Because they were basically going to like get rid of whoever said that this guy was Jesus, because they were trying to get people to not believe in Jesus. And so the parents said, he's grown. They literally said that. They said, is this your son? He says, was he born blind? Now you see, he says, we know he is our son, and we know he was born blind. But how can he see now? Or who opened his eyes? We don't know. Ask him. He is of age. He's grown. You know, they didn't want to get in trouble. They were sacrificing their own son to get in trouble because he was the blind one, right? And so I love, as down here, a second time, they summoned the man who had been blind. Give glory to God, they said. We know this man is a sinner, talking about Jesus. And the man replied, whether he is a sinner or not, I don't know, but I know one thing. I was blind, and now I can see. When you come face to face with Jesus, whether you realize this is Jesus or not, your life has changed. And some of you I've talked to, and some of you I've heard about, you're scared about going home changed. That's staff too. You know why? Because people are going to notice. And they're going to start asking questions like these Pharisees ask questions. Who you been with? Where you been? You different. I don't like that. People don't like different. You're different. You need who did this to you? Right? What kind of culture are you a part of? I don't know, we just get together and scream to Jesus. That's all you do. You know, where have you been for the last week? You know, what's been going on in your life? And it's like, listen, I'm different now. I don't know what happened. I was just here, and this man showed up, and now I'm different. And now I can see. And for many of you, you have seen the truth this week. You have seen the truth of Jesus. You have seen the truth of his love. You have seen the truth of God. And now your eyes are open. Do you want to go back to being blind? You have been healed. Start living like it. Amen. If you haven't seen your whole life, and then finally, you know, Jesus, you hear him because you can't see him spit, and you're like, what's this guy doing? And then all of a sudden he's like, go wash your eyes out because it's mud and you kind of feel it and you wash your eyes and blammo, I can see. He said blammo. Say blammo. He said blammo earlier. Blammo. He's tired. Blammo, I can see. And that's what happened this week. The mud has been washed out of your eyes and now you can see. You can't go back. You shouldn't go back. You know the true Savior. And like this guy said, I don't know if he's a sinner or not. I really don't know who he is, but I do know this one thing. I was blind and now I can see. And you can see now. So here's Jesus' response to the Pharisees. He tells us a little parable. I tell you the truth. The man who does not enter the sheep pen by the gate, but climbs in by some other way, is a thief and a robber. The man who enters the gate is the shepherd of his sheep. The watchman opens the gate for him, and the sheep listen to his voice. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. And when he was brought out of his town, when he has brought out all his own, he goes ahead of them, and his sheep follow him because they know his voice. So my grandfather was a farmer, and his dad before that, and his dad before that. And he had cows. And he would let the cows out in the pasture. And it was literally like from the stone house up to the pavilion. Like it's like 6 football fields long, right? And so, you know, they didn't have like little four-wheelers back then. And so he just stood at the barn and yelled for them. And I know the word he yelled. It was S-O-O-K, sook. And he would just stand there, sook! Sook! Sook, cows! And I'm like, what is he yelling? I don't even know this. Is this a word? And I asked my dad when he was here today, and I said, Dad, what's that word mean? He goes, it don't mean nothing. But the cows know what it means. It means about to eat. He said, every farmer has their own word. And each farmer's cows know that word. And when they hear that word, they come running because they know it's time to get some good stuff. And that's what's changing. That's what Jesus is saying here. My people, my flock, my people know my voice. And when they hear it, they come running because they know it's good. Amen. You see people when they get here on Sunday and they jump out of their cars and they run across the field to hug their friends they haven't seen for a while because they know it's about to get good. Right? And all of you have experienced that now. And next year when you come back, you're going to do the same thing. But it would never amaze me. So here I am, an 8-year-old boy. They didn't come running when I said it because they didn't know my voice. My dad said that's how he learned how to project his voice. Because, you know, when the cows are literally half-mile away, you got to project. The cool part is, no matter how far away they were on that farm, they heard his voice. And they knew his voice. It doesn't matter how far you are in God's farm of life. When he calls you, you go running. Yeah, go running. Nana's got sheep, doesn't she? Yeah. How does sheep go? He said, yeah, Nana's got sheep that he sees every day. He says, oh, here's another cool part. He says, when he has brought them out of his own, he goes ahead of them, and his sheep will follow him. So the cool part is, when you leave this place, he's already ahead of you. He's already back home preparing to wait for you. He's already back at school, even though it's 2 or 3 months away. He's already back at college, where you're going to go next fall. He's already back at your jobs and back in your families, and he's preparing that place. Because he's going to lead you to where you need to go. Because listen, sheep, and it's funny that he compares us to sheep because they're one of the dumbest animals. Like literally, they're one of the dumbest animals out there. They're dumb, right? All they do is eat. And so they eat with their heads down, and wherever the food is, and they will literally eat themselves off of a cliff because they don't know where they're going. That's why you have to have a shepherd to protect them and to guide them. And if he's not leading them, he can't see the wolves, he can't see the lions, he can't see the bears, and he can't protect them from those things and see, oh, there's a cliff up ahead, we need to go this way. And so he goes this way and says, come on, and they come after him. Because they're following, they don't see it, they follow his voice. Jesus has already done that for you. You're thinking, man, when I leave here, it's going to be a cliff that I drop off of, and it's going to be over. I don't know how I'm going to survive without this place and 160 of my closest friends to guide me. Well, guess what? He says, coming up, he says, I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep, and my sheep know me. That's the wrong part. Here we go. It says this. It says, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for his sheep. The hired hand is not the shepherd who owns the sheep. So when he sees the wolf coming, he abandons the sheep and runs away. The wolf attacks the flock and scatters it, and a man runs away because he is a hired hand and cares nothing for his sheep. Now staff, don't take this personally, but we are the hired hands, right? We are doing God's work. We're taking care of his sheep this week. But guess what? When Satan comes, we can't protect him from that.
Right.
Now, we can do our best, but only Jesus is the one that can protect from the wolf, because we're his. So, you know, campers, don't put your faith in the counselors.
Right. Amen.
Put your faith in Jesus, the shepherd of your flock. We will let you down. You can ask my kids and my wife, I'll let you down. We will let you down. Don't say, you know, Sean Williams is the coolest dude I've ever met. I'm just going to do whatever he does. I'm going to sing. I'm going to learn how to play the guitar. I'm going to shave Christmas trees in my bag. I'm going to do all kinds of cool stuff that he does, right? But sometimes he'll let you down. Jesus will never let you down. Jesus will always defend you. Jesus will always protect you. When you go back home and you're different and people say, you were blind before, how can you see now? And you're like, well, I don't know, but this dude did it to me and that's what I know. Right? They're going to want you to go back to being blind. Because that's what they know. That's the person they know, and they like that person. Guess what? You might lose some friends. Would you rather lose some friends or lose your soul? Would you rather keep that girlfriend and keep doing what you're doing? Or would you rather, lose your soul? You have seen a different way this week. Now, you're not going to have this. Emmy says, I think this is what heaven sounds like when we're singing in here, right? That's the cool part. When we get to heaven, we're all going to be singing all day long at Jesus' throne. That's going to be really sweet. We're never going to lose our voice. We're always going to be on key. We're always going to be right in perfect pitch, and I'm going to be able to play the guitar and not twitch, and it's going to be awesome. But I have Tourette's, parents who are here. I have Tourette's. The point being, do you want to live like this? Or do you want to worry about all the other stuff that your friends bring to you? That's stuff I've heard this week. Some of you have broken up with your significant others this week. Like, you didn't wait till you got home. You called them and said, I got to break up with you. Wow. Okay, let's go. It's not easy when the people you have become accustomed to don't want the best for you. Now let me ask you this. Would you rather live like the way you've been living this week? Not necessarily in stinky cabins and like brick showers that have mold and stuff, not that way. But like the Jesus way. Would you rather live in the spirit like you've been living this week? Or the crap way that school brings you down? Or that work brings you down? Jesus said, follow me. And he says, in this other verse, in between those two verses, he says, the thief comes only to kill and to destroy, but I have come that they might have life and have it to the fullest. This week feels like living life to the fullest. This is my favorite week of the year. We will literally tomorrow, some of us will go tomorrow, have lunch and start planning for next year. Because we can't stop thinking about being here. And it's not here because we used to do it in another place. It's not the here, it's with you all. Right? But we start planning and we meet monthly and we have weekly conversations. I call Anita all the time. Anita, we're going to do this with the food. But we, you know, it's just, why, if you could live life to the fullest, if I gave you infinite wealth and you could do whatever you want, would you rather live that way or live it on like $5 a week? And some of us are trying to get by on $5 a week faith. Like, I got just enough to buy like a McChicken and a large Diet Coke and maybe a small fry, right? And I'm saying I got this Smiley China buffet over here. You can eat all this Chinese food and be full to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jesus is saying, I got a buffet of life. You can live life to the fullest if you just follow my voice. And follow me because I'm going to lead the path.
Right.
There was a movie that you probably shouldn't have seen with Mel Gibson. It was a Vietnam movie. And it was about the beginning of the Vietnam War. And he was on the first helicopter that went in. He was like the leader. I'm not sure his rank, but he was the leader. And the film showed his foot stepping off of the helicopter first. Then they went through like 2 weeks of battle. And they got him out of there after the battle. And then it showed him being the last person off the battlefield. And that's Jesus.
Amen. Yeah.
He's already gone before you. He's already fought the battle for you. It's already won. It's already won. He fought the battle. He defeated Satan on the cross. He defeated him. It's over. You don't have to live in defeat anymore. We know people very close to us who live in defeat and don't live in the victory of Jesus. Jesus said, I go before my sheep so that they can live life to the fullest. Meaning, I'm going to lead them to green pastures. So they've got plenty of food and they've got all that they need. And you have seen this week, do you feel full of Jesus right now? After a week of church camp? If you don't, I don't know where you've been. I mean, it don't get much fuller than what my head's about to explode. I got so much Jesus in me right now. But this is the fullest life that he's talking about. Now, you can't eat buffets every day. You know? You can't have church camp every day. But you can have Jesus every day. Something I've lost, for those of you who saw me last year at camp and then see me this year at camp, I've lost like 65 pounds since last year at camp, right? And it's because I started viewing food differently. As a source of nutrition and what God has intended it. Not as comfort, not as like, oh, I'm stressed, I gotta eat this whole thing of Oreos. Not just two. I eat the whole package. And my physical life has changed forever. But that's the thing, when we stop viewing religion that way, as just trying to get full, and start viewing it as our daily sustenance that sustains us and makes us healthy.
Yeah.
That's what Jesus did. Jesus so many times compared himself to daily bread, because that's what fills you up. So let me end with this, and guess what? We prayed, and now the sun's out, and we're going to baptize some people in the sun. It says this. It says, the reason my Father loves me is that I laid down my life only to take it up again. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down on my own accord. I have authority to lay down and authority to take it up again. This commandment I have received from my Father. And then he says, where's that? It says, I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep, and my sheep know me, just as the Father knows me, and I know the Father. Jesus says, look, think about how close Jesus and the Father are. I mean, really, they're one. Right? He says, that's how close I want to be with you. As close as Jesus and God are, that's how close He wants to be with you. And you may feel closer to Jesus now than you've ever felt in your life. And maybe you don't. Maybe you feel farther from it than you ever felt. I don't know. But Jesus wants that close, intimate relationship with you. He desires that. How cool is it that the Creator of the universe wants a relationship with you? I mean, think about the movie star or the singer or whoever that you idolize the most. Think about them coming to you or writing you a letter and saying, you know what? I think you're pretty cool. I want to be your best friend. I want to give you everything I've got. I want to share everything I have. And what is mine is yours. That'd be pretty cool. You know? LeBron James shows up at your door and says, hey, I'm a bajillionaire. You want some? Yep. I got a camp to buy. But yeah, so I mean, Jesus wants to bless you. And here's the cool part. It says that He has chosen His sheep. They just have to follow Him. He has already chosen you. He chose you to be His. You just have to say, that's cool, let's go. That's all you got to do. Many of you have made that decision in previous years. Many of you have made it this year. Some of you will make it when you get home. The invitation is always there. It's not just here at camp. Know that, like the song said, He will never stop pursuing you. Ever. I hope that this week you've learned a little bit about what it means to distinguish all these voices that are coming into your life. Because most of the voices at home, and I'm talking about primarily from your peers and things like that, are not necessarily positive. That's why a lot of you have issues, kind of like in Jesse's skit, last night. You feel down, you feel depressed, you feel worthless. Remember what we started the week with? Satan's biggest lie? Not enough. You're not enough. You have to be more. It has to have more. And we just know, we discovered this week that is a lie. You are enough. And why you're enough? Because you're a child of God.
That's right. Amen.
Yeah. That makes me feel pretty darn special. So when somebody makes fun of my dress, I say, God made me this way. He loves me. It's all right. I also am missing like half the teeth in my head. So, I'm just, you guys are really weird. I got no teeth down here. So, if you ever want to see, let me know. I'll show you. God made me unique. God made you unique. He made you the way exactly how He wanted you to be. Don't let people talk down to you. Because you're not exactly like them. If everybody was exactly like them, it'd be boring. Right? Listen, Jesse and I, 180 degrees different. Completely and utterly different. But if it wasn't for people like him, we wouldn't have cool songs, cool music, cool novels, because he can do all those things and I just cannot. But if it wasn't for me, we wouldn't have cool engineered like buildings and cars and like things like that. Because I'm more like straight, like this is how math works. The guy one day I was like, I'm a mathematician, sorry. And I'm like, hey, that's cool, I love you. Because I love math, right? It just, my grandpa with the cows, right? I think I told this story before. We drive by a field and he'd say, like, Grandpa, how many cows are there? And he'd say, there's 20 cows. And we'd say, Grandpa, how'd you count so fast? I'd say, well, I counted the legs and divided by 4. And we never found out if that was true, or we just making it up because he never owned a calculator in his life, did his own taxes for the farm and all that stuff in his head. But there are people like that, and there are people like Jesse, and we need all of you. We need all of you. Christ needs all of you. He wants all of you. Don't let people talk down to you about that. You're a child of God. Let's pray. God, thank you so much for pursuing us. Thank you so much for guiding us. And thank you so much for going before us, going home. You're already in our homes, in our bedrooms before we get home tomorrow. You're already at our jobs, preparing the way. You're already at school that we're not even going to be at for another couple months, preparing the way for when we go back and have to face our giants and face the things that are in our lives. God, help us to live in that confidence, knowing that you are our good shepherd and you're going to fight off the wolves. You're going to fight off the bears. You're going to fight off the lions because you want us to thrive. Thank you so much for choosing us. God, as we go home, help us to not get distracted by the noise, but help us to get beyond the noise, to hear your sweet and gentle voice as we seek guidance and we seek comfort and we seek love. We love you, Jesus. Thank you for this amazing week. In Jesus' name.